Welcome to Sureway English. I hope you have been good and that you are slowly but steadily progressing towards your target PTE score. In today's video, I'm going to give you 5 awesome tips that will help you to boost your score in PTE Read Aloud very easily. These are easy tips. You don't have to learn something special, but if you just take care of these 5 things, you will find that your PTE score has gone up considerably, especially in the read aloud question type. So, if you are stuck in speaking, if your speaking score is not up to the mark, if you are nearby but still a few points short, then the read aloud question type can play a big role in it. So, if you just improve in even one question type, you can get a jump of 5 points or something around that. So that's why we are going to focus on PTE Read Aloud, and I'll tell you the things that you should do to boost your score. Make sure that you watch the video till the end because I will also talk about one thing that you have to avoid. Otherwise, the software, it will not give you a good score in Read Aloud. Okay, so let's move on. But quickly, I would like to let you know that make sure that you check the video description at the bottom. It has a lot of other useful PTE learning resources for you. So make sure that you also check out the video description after watching this video. Alright, let's begin. The very first tip that I have for you is don't miss the stops. Now, you hear a lot about the need for pausing when you are giving your response to a read aloud question, because when you stop at the right places, it makes the PTE software think that you understand the structure of the language, you know how to speak, you know how to convey yourself. But too often the problem is, too often the test takers, they get confused, they think too much. Shall I stop here? Shall I pause there? How much shall I pause? How long shall I pause? You don't have to complicate it. I'll show you with an example. So let's say this is the text that we have, right? All you have to do is that as soon as you see a comma or when you see a full stop, that's where you should pause. So there's nothing to think here about. There's nothing to be confused about. As soon as you see a comma, pause very little. When you see a full stop, again pause for a short period but slightly longer than the comma. So as a historian, if you really want to understand the sensibilities of those who lived in the past, you must be like a novelist. So see, I'm not thinking too much, you don't have to waste too much time reading the text and trying to figure out where you should pause. Even if you can just pause at commas and full stops, that will be enough. So from today onwards, when you are practicing your read aloud question type, make sure to make this habit in your mind that you have to pause, you have to stop for a little bit as soon as you see a comma or a full stop. So that's the first thing that's very important. The second main point, which is very important, is pick 3 words for emphasis. Now again, people, they might have told you, or you might have read somewhere or watched a video somewhere telling you that the need to stress or to emphasize on important words in your response. But again, people, they tend to complicate this thing. So you don't have to do that. Just pick, 3 words. Most of the times these are the words which sound, more difficult, more complex, or the words which talk about the quality of something. So important words. Just quickly, identify 3 words. So let's say, sensibilities is one. Then I'll say be a peasant in one. That historian needs imaginative, sympathy. So I just picked a mix of words, I didn't spend a lot of time. I just looked at the text, the words which seemed complex, which seemed different from the rest, and more important, I just picked three words. So all that you have to do is put your emphasis or put stress on these three words, nothing more. As a historian, if you really want to understand the sensibilities of those who lived in the past, you must be like a novelist. You are asked to imagine what it's like to be a peasant in medieval times. What the writer is saying is that a historian needs imaginative sympathy. So, see, I picked three words, and then what I did was I put stress, I put emphasis on those three words. So, three words is sufficient. Sometimes, what the test takers, what people do, they take this, very seriously, that I have to emphasize on everything that's important. And then the response, it becomes unnatural. Because in everyday life, we don't stop and put stress or emphasis on each and every word. Only the three important words you need to, and that's all. That will give you a very good response. Let's go ahead. The third tip that I have for you is faster is better. You might be confused at what pace you should speak, what speed is the best, whether you should speak fast, whether you should speak, at a medium pace. Just take my advice. If you are not very sure, then faster is always better. So instead of going like this, as a historian, if you really want to understand the sensibilities of those who lived in the past, if you can go faster like this, as a historian, if you really want to understand the sensibilities of those who lived in the past, you must be like a novelist. So if you can go fast, if you can be faster, then that is always better. Now, a word of warning here, the right pace, of course, can vary from person to person. So the best thing is if you can understand the pace that is right for you. But if you can't do that, then always go for faster is better. And when you are trying to speak fast, what you can't do, you can't hesitate too much. If you come across a difficult word, you should not stop there. You should keep going. So those are the things which go along with this. Your focus should be on being fast, on speaking faster. But like I said, if possible, try to figure out the right pace for you. It might be that, not too fast, but at a medium pace. It's possible that you already speak quite fast, so you don't need to speak any faster. To do that, what you can do is you can record yourself and listen to yourself a few times. That is very useful. Okay, let's go to the fourth tip that I have for you. Create a wave. Now, when we speak, we don't speak at the same level. Each and every word is not at the same level. Our words, they rise and fall. Okay, so that's what I call a wave. And the PTE academic software, it looks for these waves. It identifies the shape of your response. So if your response has a good shape, if the wave is good, then it will give you a good score. Now again, this is actually what the intonation is about. But again, you don't need to complicate this. You don't need to, raise your voice and lower your voice after every two words or, every now and then. Just give the computer a few points to go by. For example, when you begin a sentence, you should raise your voice, raise your tone. When you come to a full stop, you should lower your tone. So if you can just do that, that simple thing, then even that is sufficient. You don't need to do much more than that. Okay, that will give your response, your voice a shape. It will be like a wave rising and falling. So I'll give you an example. As a historian, so what I did was, I raised my tone there. And when I come to the end, asking the sort of questions a peasant might ask. So I slowly, it fell down like a wave falling down. And then when I start again, what the writer is saying, again I raised my tone, and when I come to the end, sympathy with ordinary people in the past. Again, I brought my tone down. So keep this in mind. Your response, it should be like a wave. If you just do that, you know, you will get a positive score, a thumbs up from the PTE academic software. The fifth and the last most important tip that I have for you is avoid patterns. Now, this is a mistake which a lot of people do. You might think that, you have to speak fast, but you should not sound like a robot. So, if you are always reading 5 or 6 words at a time, you know, then your response, it will become robotic. If you are always reading the same length, it will become robotic. So you have to avoid that. You have to mix, for example, once you can read 3 words at a time, then try to read 5 words at a time, 7 words at a time, then 4 words at a time. So it should be a random. But if you always do 4 words at a time, or 5 words at a time, or 3 words at a time, then you will become a robot. You will sound like a robot. So I will give you an example. If I always read 3 words at a time, as a historian, if you really want to understand the sensibilities of those who lived, see, it sounds very robotic, it sounds unnatural. The problem is, for many test takers, they are not used to reading English text. So they read in small chunks. That is fine. You can read in small chunks. With practice, you can read in larger chunks. But the size of the chunk, it should not always be the same. So if you're always stuck at just 3 words, or 4 words, then you are robotic. So you should mix and match. As a historian, if you really want to understand the sensibilities of those who lived in the past, you must be like a novelist and get into the skin of your characters. So see, in the first chunk, I read 3 words, then I think I read 6, and then I read 4 or 5. So I mixed it, and that makes me sound more natural. And the software, it is picking all these things. This is how it judges whether you are really confident in your English speaking or not. So, see, those were the 5 easy tips that I have for you. Getting a good score in PTE academic and achieving your goal, achieving your target, it does not have to be difficult. You can do it. What you need is, you need the right guidance, you need the right approach, you need to follow the right methods. And you just need to have confidence in yourself. If you do that, you can definitely achieve a target score, whether it is 65 or 79 plus. Please make sure that you check the video description. As I said earlier, it has more practice materials for you. You can get some practice tests. You can try out our free lectures, and a lot more. Please also go to sureveyenglish.com. It will be a very useful aid in your PTE preparation. All the best. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like the video, leave a comment, tell us what topic you would like us to discuss in the subsequent videos, and I'll see you very soon. All the best. Bye.